The value of pursuing a County Master Electrician license depends on individual goals and circumstances. Military background in electronics provides a solid foundation for electrical work. However, if the ultimate goal is to obtain a state electrician's license, consider the specific requirements of the state where intending to practice. The prestige of a license is subjective and often influenced by factors such as the organization issuing it and the industry standards in the area. While a state license may be more widely recognized, it does not necessarily diminish the value of a County Master Electrician's license. Self-teaching can be a valid path to becoming an electrician, but it may not provide the same level of hands-on experience and mentorship as an apprenticeship program. However, the ability to learn independently and demonstrate skills through the exam is commendable. To help determine if pursuing the county license is worthwhile, firstly, consult with the state licensing authority to clarify the specific requirements and potential limitations of the County Master Electrician's license and determine if it meets professional goals. Secondly, network with industry professionals and seek feedback and insights from experienced electricians in the area, as they can provide valuable perspectives on the value and recognition of the county license. Finally, consider long-term career aspirations. If the goal is to work on larger-scale projects or in certain industries, a state license may be necessary. However, if prioritizing flexibility in smaller-scale operations, a county license may be sufficient. If believing that the County Master Electrician's license aligns with goals and being confident in abilities, then pursuing it may be worthwhile. The decision to pursue a County Master Electrician license involves careful consideration of several factors. These factors include the individual's prior experience, the licensing requirements of the state, the potential benefits and limitations of the county license, and long-term career aspirations. Firstly, evaluate the individual's prior experience. If the individual has a strong background in electronics, that could provide a solid foundation for pursuing an electrical license. Prior experience can also help demonstrate competence and may reduce the amount of time required to complete an apprenticeship or other training program. Secondly, understand the licensing requirements of the state. Each state has its own requirements for obtaining an electrical license, and these requirements may vary depending on the type of license being sought. It is important to carefully review the state's licensing requirements and ensure that the individual meets all of the necessary qualifications. This may include completing a certain number of hours of training, passing an exam, and meeting certain experience requirements. Thirdly, consider the potential benefits and limitations of the county license. A County Master Electrician license may allow the individual to work on electrical projects within a specific county. However, it may not be recognized in other counties or states. It is important to understand the scope of the license and whether it will allow the individual to perform the types of electrical work that they intend to do. Fourthly, think about the long-term career aspirations. If the individual intends to work on large-scale commercial or industrial projects, a state-level license may be necessary. However, if the individual is primarily interested in working on smaller residential projects, a county license may be sufficient. It is important to consider long-term career goals and choose a license that will allow the individual to achieve those goals. To make an informed decision, the individual should gather as much information as possible about the licensing requirements in their state, the scope of the county license, and the potential career opportunities available with each type of license. They should also network with other electricians in their area to get their perspectives on the value of different types of licenses. Obtaining an electrical license typically involves several steps. These steps may include completing a training program, passing an exam, and meeting certain experience requirements. The specific requirements vary depending on the state and the type of license being sought. Firstly, complete a training program. Many states require individuals to complete a certain number of hours of training before they can be eligible to take an electrical licensing exam. This training may be provided through an apprenticeship program, a vocational school, or a community college. The training program should cover a variety of topics related to electrical work, including electrical theory, safety practices, and the National Electrical Code. Secondly, pass an exam. Once the individual has completed the required training, they will typically need to pass an exam to demonstrate their knowledge and skills. The exam may be administered by the state licensing board or by a third-party testing organization. The exam typically covers a wide range of topics related to electrical work, including electrical theory, safety practices, and the National Electrical Code. Thirdly, meet experience requirements. In addition to completing a training program and passing an exam, many states also require individuals to have a certain amount of experience working in the electrical field before they can be licensed. This experience may be gained through an apprenticeship or by working as an electrician's helper. The amount of experience required varies depending on the state and the type of license being sought. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a set of standards for electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It is developed and published by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. The NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and safety practices. The NEC is widely adopted by states and local jurisdictions as the basis for their electrical codes. It is important for electricians and other electrical professionals to be familiar with the NEC and to follow its requirements when installing and maintaining electrical systems. The NEC covers a wide range of topics related to electrical wiring and equipment. These topics include wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. The NEC also includes requirements for specific types of electrical equipment, such as transformers, motors, and lighting fixtures. Firstly, wiring methods. The NEC specifies the types of wiring methods that are permitted for different applications. Wiring methods include conduit cable and raceway. The NEC also specifies the size and type of conductors that must be used for different applications. Secondly, overcurrent protection. The NEC requires that all electrical circuits be protected by overcurrent devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses. Overcurrent devices are designed to protect electrical circuits from damage caused by excessive current flow. Thirdly, grounding. The NEC requires that all electrical systems be properly grounded. Grounding is a safety measure that helps to prevent electrical shock. Grounding also helps to protect electrical equipment from damage caused by lightning strikes. Fourthly, equipment installation. The NEC includes requirements for the installation of electrical equipment such as transformers, motors, and lighting fixtures. These requirements are designed to ensure that electrical equipment is installed safely and correctly. In addition to the NEC, there are other standards and regulations that may apply to electrical work. These standards and regulations may be developed by state and local jurisdictions or by other organizations, such as the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IEE. Firstly, state and local codes. Many states and local jurisdictions have their own electrical codes that are based on the NEC. These codes may include additional requirements that are specific to the area. Secondly, IEE standards. The IEE develops standards for a wide range of electrical and electronic equipment and systems. These standards may be referenced in the NEC or in other codes and regulations. It is important for electricians and other electrical professionals to be familiar with all of the applicable standards and regulations when performing electrical work. This will help to ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. Electrical safety is of utmost importance when working with electricity. Electricity can be dangerous and can cause serious injury or death if not handled properly. It is important to follow all safety precautions when working with electricity to protect oneself and others from harm. Firstly, always de-energize circuits before working on them. Before working on any electrical circuit, it is important to de-energize the circuit to prevent electrical shock. This can be done by turning off the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that supplies power to the circuit. It is important to verify that the circuit is de-energized before working on it by using a voltage tester. Secondly, use insulated tools. When working with electricity, it is important to use insulated tools to protect oneself from electrical shock. Insulated tools have a layer of insulation that prevents electricity from flowing through the tool and into the user's body. Thirdly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment or PPE. When working with electricity, it is important to wear appropriate PPE to protect oneself from injury. PPE may include safety glasses, gloves, and footwear. Fourthly, follow lockout/tagout procedures. Lockout/tagout procedures are used to prevent accidental energization of electrical circuits while they are being worked on. These procedures involve locking out the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that supplies power to the circuit and tagging the circuit to indicate that it is being worked on. Fifthly, be aware of your surroundings. When working with electricity, it is important to be aware of your surroundings and to avoid contact with any conductive materials, such as metal pipes or water. Sixthly, never work alone. It is always a good idea to have someone else present when working with electricity. This way, if something goes wrong, the other person can call for help. When working with electrical panels, it is important to take extra precautions to protect oneself from electrical shock. Electrical panels contain live electrical circuits and can be very dangerous if not handled properly. Firstly, inspect the panel before opening it. Before opening an electrical panel, it is important to inspect the panel for any signs of damage such as cracks or corrosion. If the panel is damaged, it should not be opened until it has been repaired. Secondly, wear appropriate PPE. When opening an electrical panel, it is important to wear appropriate PPE such as safety glasses and gloves. Thirdly, use a voltage tester to check for voltage. Before working on any circuits inside the electrical panel, it is important to use a voltage tester to check for voltage. This will help to ensure that the circuits are de-energized before they are worked on. Fourthly, work with a qualified electrician. It is always best to work with a qualified electrician when working on electrical panels. A qualified electrician has the knowledge and experience to safely work on electrical panels. When installing electrical wiring, it is important to follow all applicable codes and regulations. This will help to ensure that the wiring is installed safely and correctly. Firstly, use the correct size and type of wire. When installing electrical wiring, it is important to use the correct size and type of wire for the application. The size of the wire is determined by the amount of current that it will be carrying. The type of wire is determined by the environment in which it will be installed. Secondly, protect the wiring from damage. When installing electrical wiring, it is important to protect the wiring from damage. This can be done by using conduit or other protective measures. Thirdly, make sure that all connections are tight and secure. When installing electrical wiring, it is important to make sure that all connections are tight and secure. Loose connections can cause electrical problems and can be dangerous. Fourthly, test the wiring after it is installed. After electrical wiring has been installed, it is important to test the wiring to make sure that it is working properly. This can be done by using a multimeter or other testing equipment. The electrical troubleshooting involves identifying and resolving electrical problems. Electrical problems can be caused by a variety of factors, such as faulty wiring, damaged components, or overloaded circuits. Firstly, identify the problem. The first step in electrical troubleshooting is to identify the problem. This may involve talking to the customer, observing the symptoms, and using testing equipment. Secondly, isolate the problem. Once the problem has been identified, the next step is to isolate the problem. This may involve disconnecting circuits, testing components, and tracing wires. Thirdly, repair the problem. Once the problem has been isolated, the next step is to repair the problem. This may involve replacing faulty components, repairing damaged wiring, or correcting overloaded circuits. Fourthly, test the repair. After the problem has been repaired, it is important to test the repair to make sure that it has been resolved. This may involve using testing equipment or observing the system in operation. Electrical codes and standards are constantly evolving to reflect changes in technology and safety practices. It is important for electricians and other electrical professionals to stay up to date on the latest codes and standards. Firstly, attend continuing education courses. Many organizations offer continuing education courses on electrical codes and standards. These courses can help electricians and other electrical professionals stay up to date on the latest changes. Secondly, read industry publications. There are many industry publications that cover electrical codes and standards. These publications can provide valuable information about the latest changes. Thirdly, attend industry conferences. There are many industry conferences that cover electrical codes and standards. These conferences can provide an opportunity to learn from experts and network with other professionals. The role of a master electrician is multifaceted, demanding not only technical proficiency but also a strong understanding of safety regulations, business management, and customer service. A master electrician is typically responsible for designing, installing, and maintaining electrical systems in residential, commercial, and industrial settings. They must be able to read blueprints, understand electrical schematics, and use a variety of tools and equipment to complete their work. In addition to technical skills, a master electrician must also have a strong understanding of safety regulations. They must be able to identify potential hazards and take steps to mitigate them. They must also be able to train and supervise other electricians to ensure that they are working safely. Business management is another important aspect of the role of a master electrician. Many master electricians own their own businesses, so they must be able to manage finances, market the services, and manage employees. They must also be able to negotiate contracts and work with customers to ensure that they are satisfied with the work that is being done. Customer service is also essential for a master electrician. They must be able to communicate effectively with customers, understand their needs, and provide them with solutions that meet their budget and requirements. They must also be able to handle complaints and resolve disputes in a professional manner. The path to becoming a master electrician typically involves a combination of education, experience, and examination. The specific requirements vary by state and locality, but generally include completing an apprenticeship program, passing a licensing exam, and accumulating a certain number of years of experience in the field. Firstly, education and training. A high school diploma or equivalent is typically required to enter an apprenticeship program. Apprenticeship programs provide on-the-job training under the supervision of a licensed electrician. These programs also include classroom instruction in electrical theory, safety regulations, and the National Electrical Code. Secondly, experience. After completing an apprenticeship program, individuals must accumulate a certain number of years of experience working as an electrician before they can be eligible to take the Master Electrician Licensing exam. The amount of experience required varies by state and locality, but typically ranges from 2 to 5 years. Thirdly, examination. The Master Electrician Licensing exam is a comprehensive test of an individual's knowledge and skills in electrical theory, safety regulations, and the National Electrical Code. The exam typically includes both written and practical components. Fourthly, continuing education. Many states and localities require master electricians to complete continuing education courses to maintain their licenses. These courses help master electricians stay up to date on the latest changes in electrical codes and standards. The demand for qualified electricians is expected to grow in the coming years, driven by factors such as population growth, increased construction activity, and the need to maintain and upgrade existing electrical infrastructure. Master electricians are particularly in demand, as they have the knowledge and skills to handle complex electrical projects and to supervise other electricians. The job outlook for electricians is projected to grow 6% from 2022 to 2032, about as fast as the average for all occupations. About 84,200 openings for electricians are projected each year, on average, over the decade. All of those openings are expected to result from the need to replace workers who retire or transfer to other occupations. Electricians are needed to install and maintain electrical and power systems in homes, businesses, and factories. As new homes and businesses are built, electricians will be needed to install the electrical wiring, lighting, and other electrical components. Electricians will also be needed to maintain and upgrade existing electrical systems. The increasing use of electrical and electronic equipment in homes and businesses is also expected to drive demand for electricians. As more and more people use computers, smartphones, and other electronic devices, the need for electricians to install and maintain the electrical systems that power these devices will continue to grow. In addition, the growing use of renewable energy sources, such as solar and wind power, is expected to create new opportunities for electricians. Electricians will be needed to install and maintain the electrical systems that connect these renewable energy sources to the grid. The median annual wage for electricians was $65,220 in May 2022. The lowest 10% earned less than $39,630, and the highest 10% earned more than $109,100. In May 2022, the median annual wages for electricians in the top industries in which they worked were as follows. Firstly, construction, $67,450. Secondly, building equipment contractors, $66,550. Thirdly, manufacturing, $65,060. Fourthly, self-employed, $62,870. Fifthly, government, $59,730. Wages for electricians vary depending on factors such as experience, education, location, and industry. Electricians who have more experience in education typically earn higher wages. Electricians who work in high-demand locations or industries also tend to earn more. Self-employed electricians may earn more or less than salaried electricians, depending on their business skills and the success of their businesses. The electrical field offers a variety of career paths for individuals with different interests and skills. Some electricians specialize in residential wiring, while others focus on commercial or industrial electrical systems. Some electricians become supervisors or project managers, while others start their own businesses. Firstly, residential electrician. Residential electricians install and maintain electrical systems in homes. They may work on new construction projects or remodel existing homes. They must be familiar with the National Electrical Code and local building codes. Secondly, commercial electrician. Commercial electricians install and maintain electrical systems in businesses. They may work on office buildings, retail stores, or restaurants. They must be familiar with the National Electrical Code and local building codes. Thirdly, industrial electrician. Industrial electricians install and maintain electrical systems in factories and other industrial facilities. They may work on complex electrical systems such as motor control systems and automated machinery. They must be familiar with the National Electrical Code and local building codes. Fourthly, supervisor or project manager. Experienced electricians may advance to supervisory or project management positions. In these roles, they are responsible for overseeing the work of other electricians and ensuring that projects are completed on time and within budget. Fifthly, business owner. Some electricians start their own businesses. This can be a rewarding career path, but it also requires strong business skills. Business owners are responsible for managing finances, marketing their services, and managing employees.